Hey everyone. Alright, if you like my content, thanks. Just wanted to talk about what happened today. Long time standing goaltender in the NHL. Retired. Top 3 behind Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur. Roberto Luongo retired, finally. But what does this mean for Vancouver? A lot of headaches. With Cap taking on, when he's retired, 3 years, 3 million of cap. This year it'll run into it so that the Canucks have 15 million during the July 1st free agency frenzy. So I'm just curious. Also, is it worth having a long contract like his to keep him on the team? Or was that just to make him happy for that time being? And the way that Vancouver played it out didn't go very well because they sent him back to Florida. Wow, my Spence is on. Who are my goalies? Sorry about that. But yeah, I was kind of curious on that, on what other people think about that for sure. But another point is being a goaltender and having that kind of contract as well, and knowing it's going to end, before, knowing his career is going to end before the actual end of the contract. It kind of screwed up Kovalchuk. Well, screwed up New Jersey when he left. Long contracts don't always do so well. So having like 8, 9 years on a contract, is it worth it for keeping that player there, or would it be worth it to give him a little bit of extra money at, 6 mil, 7 mil for 6 years instead? Instead of gradually going down, keep it consistent for, 4, 5, 6 years. Is that the best thing to do? And I'm just looking. And here's my franchise, just going through it. I did pick up JT Miller, as the Canucks did. I also picked this one up. They were giving it to me basically on a platter, so I took it. And Tobias Reader, but nothing too big. From free agency, I'll be looking at it more going into this year's draft, as I might not make the playoffs. So, see what happens. Pen to kill. Beagles. Good defensive players. Maybe I'll use them there. That works. Alright, here goes. I do like editing my lines. It's easier. Here we scratch. We got Big as a defense. Edler, Strawman, Tanner, Stitch, Pearson. That's one. There we go. And too bad that NHL doesn't bring in, NCAA players or get the rights to bring them in. That'd be kind of nice. With Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, all them. Alright, so let's go check the standings quickly here as I'm ending the season. I'm not going to make the playoffs. I still have my first. Okay, so we got 93, 91, and I'm sitting at 78. So I went on a downward spiral, but that is okay, as I can still make some trades. Where did I hit? Oh, this month. This month wasn't that great. So March. February was iffy. More losses than wins. This was a good month. So yeah, after January, kind of just went straight downhill. 36, 37, and 7. As long as I keep a 50-50 record, I think should be fine. Let's do this quickly. But another thing is, like, when having an impact like Luongo did on his fans, on his Twitter followers, from Strombone to anybody that that got some knowledge from him, do you think a lot of them are going to be sad that he's leaving? Or again, is it that he's done what he wanted to do? He's happy at where he's at, and he had a amazing career. He had more wins than he did losses. I think it was 492, 3. Let me just check quickly. 492 and 311, if I remember. Sorry, I will check quickly. But yeah, and it's my one of my buddies who I played NHL all the time with, loves Luongo. Now he's got to find a new one. Is that tougher for somebody to do than than people actually realize, or do you think it'll be just a quick little snap? Okay, I like this goalie because he does this, or even player for that was like when like Henrik and Daniel last year. That's for Vancouver fans. This year would be Brooks Orpik, so Pens fans, Caps fans helped. He helped cups for both teams. So there's certain aspects where they're recognizable for their achievements, but they're also recognizable for what they've shown, what they've done, like that. I'm just saying, is it harder for somebody to change it just like that to getting another person that they enjoy watching? And so here it is. He was 489, 392, and 91 with 33 ties, 2.52 goals against average, and a 919 save percentage with 77 shutouts. I mean, he had a lustrous career. He had an amazing run at playoffs. A couple times, the big run against Boston was unfortunate. And then the fans just took refuge on the city. And, I mean, that just tells you how passionate sometimes Canadians can be. Americans can be passionate about their teams, but hockey, I don't find it as much. But congratulations to the fans in St. Louis, and the St. Louis Blues for sure. Great series against a Boston team that plays game in and game out every night. Yeah, sometimes a lot of people say they're dirty. Yeah, a lot of people say that, they get away with things. They, um, especially Marchand's punch to the back of the head against Columbus. That was that was a little uncalled for and confusing. Um, how he didn't get any really. Um, I mean, just certain things that Boston do, but they do it to win the game, and that's all the owner, coach, that's everybody asks. Yeah, you have to listen to the rules, and if the rules don't go by the way, and it seems like this year's playoffs went roughly rough with the refs, especially not making the right call, going to the video replay, and then seeing that they made the wrong call after the fact. What happened? San Jose, Vegas, Boston, Columbus, with the puck going out of the in the mesh, and then there was the slew foot in the final. I mean, there, and then well, see, there wouldn't have been a charging penalty if that slew foot was basically called. And I mean, it happens. Yeah, you miss a call, but what I what you should be able to bring in is that the coaches can use their challenge on anything that they see fit to, and the ref would have to go back to the VR, or the video replay. Well, that VR, but video replay, and actually look at it properly. I mean, yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but you're making the right call. Isn't that what we want in the game? To make the right call? Like, when you're playing this game, if anybody is watching it, whatever, I don't care. Whoever plays this game and pushes the R1 button at the wrong time, what happens? You get a penalty. Is it the right call? No, it's not the right call. But do we get mad or pissed off about it? Yeah. Sometimes we're in the right position to actually get the puck before the stick, but it goes through the puck and hits the skate. And I mean, actually, I could just sim this. I won't. I'll see what happens over the off season. But yeah, I'm curious again how you guys felt about how refs dominated the playoffs, and I just to watch hockey. I have NHL scenarios. I watch all the games, and I flip through them while they're going on. I look at the highlights at the end of the night. I'm a huge hockey fan. Now, watching those games, especially Vegas San Jose, that was a missed call. Yes, he got hurt on the play, but it's not a 5. And everybody's looked at it, everybody's seen it, everybody knows. And those refs didn't get to ref after that. So for that situation, they're going to be able to ref next year. And maybe they might look at the video replay a little more clearly and look at what happened. Because all that happened there was either a roughing call, he kind of pushed him with force, and he didn't really have the puck as he's going down too. So the most that they could do was probably like a rough and you can't really even say charge, because he didn't leave his feet. He didn't extend any force at all. He basically just he pushed him down. It's a rough. And then the puck in the mesh, that was a weird one. It should have been blown down, but no, it caused Columbus to get a goal. But I mean, and it's to a team that usually gets the call their way, but they didn't this time. And I still feel bad about watching it because it was the wrong call. Now, when certain things like that, like a cup-winning goal in Dallas. Let's see, was it Dallas Buffalo? Dallas Buffalo. Brett Hull had his in the rule at the time. You weren't allowed in the crease before the puck was in the crease. So his toe was in there. The puck came back out. You're supposed to move your foot. He didn't move his foot. He kept it going, and then he put the puck in the net. And that's the wrong call. There wasn't video replay as there is today, but it was the wrong call. So saying that in a specific, trophy winning game like that, it's wrong for the players who've worked so hard. They know the rules, and it's uncalled for by not making the right call. You're there, yes, it takes them maybe a little bit longer, but put a timer on it. Put a 2, 3, maybe 5 minute timer. You have to make the call within this time. You look at it, and you make the right decision. Yeah, we're human. We make mistakes. We don't make the right decisions all the time. But as a referee in a game with rules, that you should know the rules, and you should be able to, if a rule or a decision causes a goal for a team that didn't deserve it. I don't know if deserve is the right word. Doesn't exceed on it. So if a decision causes a goal for a certain aspect, it just in general, it shouldn't count, because there's a rule from when let's see. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so there's a rule in there where it says you cannot give one-sided if there's no, like, okay, so if a ref makes a mistake, you can't bring the puck back into their zone or into one of the offensive or defensive zones, because it'll give one team an advantage. If there's a mess up, then it usually goes straight to center ice. Now, that's what should have happened. I'm talking about the incidents with Columbus and Boston. And yeah, nonetheless, Boston went ahead and, went to the finals. But the difference in that is what if Columbus won because of that game? What if it happened later in the series? There would be so much controversy, and Boston fans would be furious. And that's the thing, is where if you make the right call when the play has happened. So if a coach has a challenge, he's got one challenge a game, and if you challenge any play and just look at it on the video replay and make the right decision, I think it's better than what we've been doing with only certain aspects of what you can look at, because there's been a lot of missed calls we've noticed, and I just want to say, do you as fans get mad at the TV when a missed call happens? Because when I watch, I get mad. Because it's not the game. A game has rules. A sport has rules. That's like, I don't know, I'm going off topic a little bit, but if you were watching the Women's World Cup and it was Cameroon spit on one of the opposing players, Cameroon and England, I think. And with having that, she spit on the player, and then Cameroon got mad at the ref for making the right call because she went back to VR or VAR is what they call it there. And the game went on. But Cameroon was going to be still mad because it didn't go their way. But it was the right call. That's why we have refs. We have refs to make the right call. We have refs to make sure that the players are safe on the ice. We have refs that to make the well, basically that's it, to keep them safe and to make sure that they make the right call. Because if we were just playing shinny, there would be no refs. You would just, no offsides, no anything, even refs screw up on the offsides. Now, say that caused a goal, that happens, then you challenge it. But it also, I think it was two playoffs ago, PK Subban, where he was onside, but the ref called it offside. Or when the ref loses sight of the puck, there's nothing you can do on those ones. It's the ref loses sight of the puck, blows it down. But if it's clearly open, there's really, you've made a mistake. You can't really change that. That's the unfortunate thing, is we're human. We make mistakes. We cannot change what's already been done. So with having video replay on certain aspects, penalties, goals, you can. I also have another one. Someone showed me a video of a stick. I think it was Stamkos. Stamkos took a slap shot, and he swung his stick with the follow through, but he broke his stick and it went out and back. So it went over the glass, because that's a penalty if it goes straight over the glass into the stands. But what it did was it went over the glass and into the bench. So is that a penalty? Did the refs make the right call there? He got, I think, a two for delay of game or something, or something like that, or illegal equipment. I don't know, something like that. And it was weird, because when it happened, everybody's like, "Oh, what did he get called for?" Nobody knew. And that's another thing, is that if the people watching don't know the rules, or don't know the proper rules, watch more. You'll understand it. Like this year for me, I'm a Canadian fan of basketball, I guess. I got hyped up because Toronto was going in, and I watched every playoff game from the Spurs. Bucks. I watched the one ender when Kawhi went the bouncy shot. But after that, I started watching the games and trying to understand the rules. And it's quite an interesting game, because, no offense to basketball players, I find it's interesting. It's such a high scoring game, but in the amount of time when it actually matters, it's the fourth quarter. It's basically the fourth quarter, because the first, the second, and the third, I'm confused about, because it's like, okay, so you have like a 3-point difference going into the second. Okay, second goes on. Okay, it's going to halftime. There's like a 3 or 4 point difference now. I don't know what it is, or, well, I can't really, but I can't really watch a whole game. I have to be watching something else and watching that game. But when the fourth quarter hits, my eyes are glued to that goddamn TV. It's a fast, quick, anticipation game, because as soon as you're in defense, you have to make a stop, or they're going to tie the game. Like, they're going to go ahead, or it's just a back and forth game. That's all it is. It's very back and forth. But when you have control of the ball in the defensive end, and they have that shot clock that runs down time or whatever, there's a lot of what's the word? Like anxiousness from both sides because you're like, okay, so say Toronto's up by 2 points, for 10 minutes left. They need to hold that lead for that amount of time. That means going into the offensive zone, putting it in the basket, then running all the way back and making sure it doesn't go in the basket without stopping it under or getting a foul, because a foul, it causes that's so tight, so close games. That's why I like watching. Like I've never really watched during the season, but the playoffs, I don't know why. It just the fourth quarter, I'm glued to that TV. It's where NHL is such a fast, high-paced game. I can watch it all time. I can watch it from the first, the second, and the third. Sometimes not the second, especially Minnesota. Don't know why, I just can't watch Minnesota. It's so boring. No offense to Minnesota fans. No offense to Minnesota as a team. It just doesn't make sense to me. They play a very trappy, slow style game. There's a couple teams out there in the NHL that like doing that, but that's the system that the coach wants. That's the system the coach is going to play, and that's the system that they're going to play. So, but that's another thing. But with having that, and even the refs made some weird calls in that NBA final. I got so confused at the end because it was so anticlimactic how the Raptors actually won the game. I was in awe. I was like, wait, what is happening? This guy's calling for a timeout. They don't have a timeout. So then Kawhi gets to go to the free throw line. He gets the okay. So then they automatically win. It's very, as soon as you know, like you saw, what was it? I think it was Cousins. He had his head down for the 4 seconds that was left or whatever. And I mean, damn, you could get a quick shot with, Seth Curry, but then only a 3-pointer is good. And then you have to get the ball back, and there's not enough time. It's automatically done. As soon as there's like a 4-point game, I'd say 5. Okay, 5-point game between the difference, it's over within 10 seconds. If there's a 5-point difference, there could be a couple fouls, but you're not going to do that. You're going to try to hold the ball or wait for them to shoot and let that clock run. You're not going to be that pushy, you're not going to double team those players. You're going to stay one-on-one, just like, it doesn't make sense why I think it was game 6, when they made their play, they could have won it. That Raptors could have won it that game. Gasol was underneath the hoop. Yeah, he was getting a little bit pushed around and whatnot, but all they needed was 2 points. They didn't need to go for the 3, but they went for the climactic finish. And as Kyle Lowry, I don't know if it got hit by the defense, but he had a nice shot. It looked like it was going to go, but then it curved off and hit the backboard, but the side of the backboard. So, I mean, for basketball fans and for hockey fans, is it more fun when it's a close game? Say you guys, like, you're down a goal, your team gets a tying goal with a minute left, and then you guys go to overtime. Is it more exciting to watch that than it is to watch a 5-1 game, 6-1 game, kind of like that with the differential? And so I've also asked that. When a team like, let's see, Ottawa, this year, not very good, sent a lot of players away, they're rebuilding. But say so with that, oh, okay. Do you find it that it's exciting when it's a closer game than it is with a one, or a a point spread of like 5, 6. It's not as exciting and not as fun to watch. So when you're getting shellacked, say your team has Ottawa coming in to your stadium, do you go see the games or do you not because you know that your team's going to shellac them? Because in the NHL, a lot of teams, it's crazy. It's you don't know who's going to shellac who, and you don't know who's going to come out that night. It's what I like about it. But a lot basketball, those 5 main teams that are going to always be in the playoffs. Crazy. I don't understand how they can let that happen every year. It's exciting for those teams, but then look at like I really don't know. The Pelican. Is it the Pelicans? I don't know. Maybe the Pelicans do they get very far? Do the Rockets get very far? Do the sorry, I am not a very adamant basketball fan, but do those teams enjoy, like, people enjoy watching their teams, not make it? Is it because of the owners? Is it because of the players not wanting to go to certain places? Like, I don't understand that, because when you watch New Jersey this year, and when you watch New York Rangers this year, it's going to be a whole different story. You're going to have Capi Kako, and Jack Hughes, who are going to be like the Crosby Ovechkin, I guess, for this year. Fighting back and forth for Calder, most likely. But there's also other guys in there too that could be able to play, because the way that they played together, and that's another thing, is that these players who got drafted this year played together. A lot of them played together on the same team. The USA development system. Smart play. But are they going to capture what they did there? Are they going to do it here? Nobody knows. That's the gamble. But the skill, the drive, the determination that US team had, definitely it's going to work. But the thing is, you have to mesh with your team, because as a team in hockey, you have to be able to. Oh geez, where am I? Oh, I got to eat. Jeez. You have to be able to. Sorry. There you go. As a team, you're gonna have to work as a team. It's puck control's 80%, and then scoring and passing, or scoring is basically 20%. Because if you hold the puck more time than the other team, you have a high chance of winning that game. Not a lot of people understand that, especially on this game. They like to play for themselves. A lot of selfish players out there that, don't move the puck as fast. Don't have that kind of reaction time or whatever. But this game, for NHL, for watching it, for anything, you're going to see the team most of the time with puck possession time winning that game. Because there's the odd time where, Vasilevsky will stop everything that is coming at him, other than in the playoffs, unfortunately, to Vasilevsky. Don't know with the change of the game, and they want more goals. So they're trying to do everything in their power to do that. So, it makes it more exciting again. But again, when you play the game or when you watch the game, try to understand the rules. Try to understand just little bits and pieces at a time. Because I know for basketball, I was asking questions. There was a buddy that I play with sometimes who is adamant, very adamant basketball fan. Been a Toronto Raptors fan, said long time since probably they've been in the league. And I ask him questions if I don't know the answer. Or you go to YouTube or you go to Google and you just ask. Because if you don't know something, what's the best thing? To understand it. Because if you don't understand it and it comes up again, then you're just mind boggled and it's bad. But again, in this game, you work as a team. You play position and you move the puck as a team. You're going to play a lot better. You're going to do a lot better. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about Lou, NHL reffing, the game a little bit, and the basketball. So hopefully whoever watches it, appreciate it. Thank you. And one more thing. Comment, ask questions. I don't care. I will respond as soon as I can. There is one thing though. I want to leave. Is there a sport out there that you can watch all the games in it for that season straight from like the first game of the season to the last game of the season? And I mean, yeah, you know, is there a sport like that for yourself, for anybody that you think? Is it because our attention span gets lost in it because it takes so long, or is it because we're not in the game? When we're watching a sport like soccer. Soccer can be boring at times because all they're doing is passing to 11 different people on the field. And that's all it is. There's a lot of less goals. The bigger goal helps. But a lot of the high caliber players can't even hit the empty net. No offense, just confused. NBA, it's like a ping pong match, or ping pong, ping pong? Not ping pong. Yeah, ping pong. It just goes back and forth. You're just fast paced going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you have to have that endurance to do so. Is it fun to watch it like that for a lot of you? And hockey, for me, that is my sport. I can basically do that. I watch game one of, 4 o'clock, or, well, what would it be? Sunday's a little bit earlier, but yeah, Pacific time, so 4 o'clock in the afternoon till like 10 o'clock at night. I'm usually watching hockey. I'll be playing hockey too. I have my two TV setups. And then on Sundays, it's like 12, or even Saturdays, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then the last game probably ends at 10. So, I mean, I can watch all those games, or bits and pieces. Like, I can have it on and watch it. I mean, not directly watching it all the time because I like to do something while I'm watching it. Because I enjoy playing it and I enjoy the game. So if there's like baseball, basketball, soccer, even lower, like not high on the spectrum for sports, like volleyball, golf, could you watch every game in the season of a PGA Tour? Like, it's pretty tough. I tried to watch golf and I cannot. I fall asleep every time. And I don't know what it is. But thanks for watching if you did. I'm going to leave it off at that. And yeah, I appreciate you watching if you did. Thanks.